So I decided to do this video because obviously adult colouring is becoming quite a big thing at the moment. So I thought that I would just share with you some of the things that I am currently doing. So as you can see here, I have got a download from the internet of Joanna Bashford and her A Secret Garden. And this picture is a free download which I have pinned onto my Pinterest board for adult colouring. I've also put loads of other pins on my adult colouring Pinterest board, so if you go to it you shall find links to these pages which are all available completely free, and they are super. And this one as well, this one's one of my favourite ones, so I have printed it out twice. I'm thinking that's going to make a lovely card for somebody. I'm going to perhaps colour that in and then scan it and use it to make some cards for people, you know, thank you cards and things like that, because I love owls. I wanted to just go over what I'm using to colour in with. Here you can see I've started doing, let me just zoom in, I've started doing a colouring for Joanna Bashford. As I said, this work here that you can see took roughly probably about an hour and a half to do that, and I know that sounds like a lot of time, but I'm not I don't rush this, you know. Like in here there's probably about 4 different colours, and as with the leaves as well, it's not a hobby that you take up that you want to finish quickly. It's something that you do, I do anyway, and I do it to relax, you know what I mean. I don't do it to rush it. I mean, there's so many things in life that we rush at now, and we rush in here and there and everywhere. It's this adult colouring for me is just a time where I can just sit and spend time really concentrating on doing something. I don't rush it, you know. I just sit and take my time, do it when I'm watching telly, or just put the radio on and just really sort of chill out. And to be honest with you, it really helps me deal with any stress, any problems that I've got, because while I'm doing my colouring, I will probably think about these problems, and by the time I've finished, I've come up with a solution, if that makes sense. For all people who live in the UK, I've been to Poundland the other day, and I've picked up this wonderful colouring book, obviously for £1. In here are some absolutely wonderful pieces of artwork. I mean, for £1, you can't really grumble. I mean, it probably would have cost me more to print these out, so that's why I didn't mind spending the money on that at all. The pencil crayons I'm using, I'm going to go into now. I'm using Spectrum Noir pencil crayons purely because when I started sort of doing colouring was when I was really into my card making, and these were probably the most popular ones for people who were card makers. So these are the Spectrum Noirs. They come in different packages. So this is Essentials, Primaries, Nature, Floral and Marine. Inside Essentials, just in case anybody wants to buy a specific pack. Inside Primaries would be those colours. Inside Nature, those colours. Inside Floral, those ones. And inside Marine are those ones. Now, the reason why I've just done it like that is because those colours aren't in these boxes for me. I don't find the way that Spectrum Noir have organised them, I didn't find it very helpful. Now, because I've got all of the boxes, there is 5 boxes in total. I bought all of them because when I bought them, I was still a student. I was doing my teacher training, so I had a student card. So obviously I got my student discount, and I think it was on buy 2 get the 3rd free at Hobbycraft or something like that. And I also bought like some solution for blending as well. So these here are not in their normal tins. What I've done, because it makes it easier for me, because now I've got the whole range, is I've actually put them into number order. So if I find number 1 first of all, so you can see the ranges of colours, but please be mindful that these are in the incorrect boxes. I don't want people getting disappointed thinking, oh, if I go and buy Marine, these are the colours I'll get, because they're not. the colours that I showed you on the back are the colours that you'll get when you buy them. I've just decided to organise them this way. So as with my Spectrum Noir felts, well, pens which I've got, sorry, I have done this as well because I've got like a big tower of them. So with these, I've organised them into number order, so then I can easily pick the ones that I want and know that they're going to blend well together. I don't need to sit and think ages or look in about 5 different boxes to see which ones are the ones that blend well. So they're like grouped really in all different colours. So like obviously here, yellows, oranges, reds, and then going on to this one, which is more sort of like reds, purples, greens. And then, like I said, all in number order. So we've got some greens and some blues. And then I'll go on to this colour here, which is going from obviously blues, purples, going more into the darker colours. And then this one is all mainly darker colours there. So what I'm going to do as well is perhaps make little swatches that I can put up the top here in the lid, up here, so that I can actually see the colour, because sometimes, I mean, you know, the colours down here might not be very, you know, well representative of what the colour is when you actually colour with it. So I'm going to do some colour swatches as well. So those are how I'm organising my crayons at the moment. And whilst I'm here, I'm just going to give you a few tips on adult colouring itself. Because I've got all of these organised into colours, it's easy now for me to go in and say I want 3 colours. So I'm going to go for a light one, medium, and say I want quite a dark one. So I'm going to skip a few and go to that one. This is how I do it anyway. So as you can see, underneath my colouring, I've got a few cereal boxes. You know, I like to upcycle, but they are there for a purpose, and that's because I always like to work into a surface. There's about two or three cereal boxes underneath here, just so I've got something to work into. Right then guys, so what I'm going to show you is very basically how to colour in, say, this flower here. I've picked out 3 different colours like you've just seen, and what I start with personally is I start with the lightest colour that I've got. So in this case it's a 34 if anybody's got these crayons. So I'm going to go round with the 34. I'm going to do just the inside here, like, can you see I've left that tiny leaf there? I'm going to do that in a different colour, I think. So I'm going to go around there and up the top. Now because that leaf or that petal is over the top there, then I would think that naturally the sides of it there and there are going to be darker. So I will get a darker pencil crayon to do those. So then with this one, I'm also going to get my 35 and go into it there. I'll go all over it with a 34 first, just so you can get an idea. The outside of the petals, I'm going to make the lightest section. And then I might even do the inside a completely different colour. It is important to try and have a sharp pencil when you're doing it. I was looking at investing in a better pencil sharpener, to be honest, but shall see how I go. So I'm just coming into it now with something that's a bit darker. I'm going to come into it now, just down the bottom section with this darker colour. This is, for anybody who wants to know, a 38. So I'm just coming in with that darker colour. Don't worry about it now, because it will look like the colour, you know, the colour won't blend straight away. Okay, and then what I personally do is come back with my lightest colour, so that's 34 in this case, and I just smooth in that colour just to make it look like it's a smoother transition between the colours. And there you go, you've got your little flower. You can go into it a bit more if you wanted to, if you want to make it a little bit darker. You can go into it and make it a bit darker and then just go over it again. It's completely up to you really as to how dark and light you want to make them. People might not want to even do shading. You know, some people just use one block colour, which is fine. Personally, I like to shade them in because I just think it just looks nicer when you've finished it. But it's fine whichever way you do it. You don't really need, you know, expensive crayons to get going. There's loads of people on the Facebook group that I'm in that use, you know, that don't use, you know, Spectrum Noirs. That use different pencil crayons. People go and they pick up the normal Crayola crayons before they get started to see whether they enjoy it. It's not one of those things that you necessarily need to spend lots and lots of money on. So in the centre I've decided I just want a completely different block colour. So I'm going to go for this red and just put this just in the very centre. With this one I am just going to do just a completely red. I'm not going to shade in there. And there you go, there's my completed flower. And then I hope that that has been a bit helpful for some people. Like I've said, you know, go to my Pinterest board if you want some colouring pages, adult colouring pages. Go to my Pinterest board. Don't feel like you've got to spend money on a colouring book until you know whether you enjoy it or not. And like I said, my top tips are really is make sure you've got something to lean on, something that's like either paper or card or something that's like that's squishy, for the want of a better word, squishy. Like for example, like I personally wouldn't like to be working on like a glass mat or something. I'd want something that I could actually like press into. The second tip really that I'd got was to put your colours into family groups. I find that easier when my colours are all in family groups, so then I can go in and I know what colours blend properly, and I'm not spending like half an hour trying to find colours that blend in the correct way. So those are sort of like be the top tips that I would suggest, and to make sure as well that your pencil crayons are sharp to start off with. You know, don't go in with blunt pencil crayons because then you're going to find it really hard to stay in the lines. So I hope that that has been helpful for some people. Like I say, give it a go. You know, get all the family doing it, you know, sit all around the table and all have a little, you know, you don't have to have something complex, just have, you know, just a little simple picture. And you could even all have one big picture and do it as a collaborative thing as a family. How lovely would that be? You know, just a nice rainy day activity to all sit there and do a bit of colouring in. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video and that it's given you some inspiration. I'd be really happy if people are colouring in. Please feel free to come and share your pictures on my Facebook page. It's always lovely to see people's works in progress. I'll put a link to my Facebook group down below and I hope to see people there. Thanks very much and I'll see you soon. Bye.